Welcome back, Red Spotters. I'm sure here in the Red Spotlight podcast. I'm your host, Alexys J. Soto, joined by the usual people, Alexys Moreno, David Moreno, Kyle Lira, and Peter Martinez. This is the sixth and final installment of the Last Airbender recap series. Today we will recap the final 11 episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender for Book 3, FAIRE. Normally there are 10, but there is, I think, 21 total episodes for Season 3 is the official count. And if you've noticed Netflix lately, they've kind of messed with that numbering either way because they've put some together. So that makes it even more confusing. But it's the last bit, and we are here. How is everyone doing today? Yeah, that's
just fine.
It's about as good as I can hope for at this point, right? We're alive.
You know,
so
honestly, in 2020, it's just an endless bit of your cabbage cart just being decimated. That's all 2020 is.
I'm sorry. Peter just like cracked me up right now. So Kyle Lira was not here for the entirety of Series 2 and the beginning of Season 3, and Alexys Moreno wasn't here for the beginning of Season 3, so as we usually like to do with guests who miss out on certain episodes, we'll go straight to them to give us some thoughts or highlights of what they thought. Kyle, give us your thoughts, overview of Season 2 of The Last Airbender.
It's pretty damn good. Okay, let's go on to the rest of the
Pretty damn good.
Yeah. Honestly, book 2 is really good because like you get into conspiracies and all that shit that's going behind the scenes of Bossing Say and all that stuff. So I think that's pretty intriguing. Just like these kids are trying to figure out like this undercover thing, and it turns out they're right and nobody will listen, and just like this endless array of bullshit. And then that finale where Azula hits Aang in his sweet spot, and he's down for the count, and it's honestly pretty good. I liked the whole bit. You go into the journey that Iroh and Zuko go through. Yes. Okay. All right. Oh.
I'm still laughing at the Jesus thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. So I like the journey that those two characters go on. You got a lot of growth. And this.
That's what she said.
Sure. Yes. And this is pretty much Empire Strikes Back, where they pretty much lose. And it makes a compelling second act of this 3-act story, I think. So, yeah. Also, you get introduced to one of the most badass characters of all time, which is Toph. So, I think that's...
Alexys, thoughts on the first 10 episodes of Season 3?
I liked it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it has one of my favorite episodes, which is the beach episode. And then we get, you know, Zuko. So yeah.
Fucking Peter.
Wait a minute, stop right there. I gotta ask this question, right? And this may come in the form of an apology, I guess, to Peter Martinez, because he made like some form of music. What is it with you that you've been like... You've had that song Starships by Nicki Minaj stuck in your head for at least a month now. This isn't the first time this has come
up. I don't know. She said beach. And then in that song, they sing, you know, let's go to the beach.
I think part of my personality has rubbed off on Peter. I think every time you reference an obscure lyric.
Stop that now.
Ever since I
need to cut something off before it spreads.
Try hydrochloroquine. I hear it helps.
Yeah, that definitely helps. Our great
It's a
president
miracle
said so.
elixir.
Yeah, so I think part of my personality has rubbed off on Peter. Everyone, you're welcome. So I win in some way.
So, Alexis, the beach episode. Your favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it has that episode. I think it's a really good episode. I know that David told me that you guys said that a lot of these episodes felt like filler episodes, which
I mostly said that.
Oh,
Just to clarify,
David, you're a snit.
Well, hold on a minute. That's not necessarily unfair. Did either of you two, Moreno or Kyle, listen to last episode? I'm going to assume that's a no. That's a hard no. Okay. We had a whole tangent of what qualifies as filler and what people usually misconstrue as filler. So just so we're clear about that, like when we all agreed that when we use the word filler, it's not as if like they were like a complete waste.
Yeah.
They did, you know, or like they
David
were
got pretty heated about it.
It has the soccer episode where he gets a sword. I think that's a really good episode too.
Yes.
And then, the first episode also of the first season when Aang kind of is like, "Fuck, I fucked up hard." Yeah. And then, being in the Fire Nation, and just kind of seeing like everything that goes on in their everyday life.
In the homeland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's wild. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty good.
Okay.
But a lot of them I do kind of like fast forward a little bit.
I was going to ask that, but go ahead, Kyle. You had some thoughts?
Yes. Team Avatar and Fire Nation clothing, holy shit. They are lit.
And that is this week's fashion.
Well, actually, when they had that Comic-Con panel where they were announcing book 3, that was like a big thing. Like they showed everybody like their Fire Nation outfits and stuff, and everybody was going crazy.
They knew their audience.
An interesting question, and I can ask this to both Kyle and Alexis, because David and Peter and I had this discussion last time. Where do you regard the first half of season 3 amongst the other, phases of this series? Do you feel like it is weak, strong to you? As far as, the quality of it as a whole, do you think that this was forgettable? Where do you land on this?
I don't necessarily think that the first half or any bit of the last, because the thing is that they're constantly growing and you're constantly seeing an evolution, and it's hard to like pinpoint which evolution pinpoint is the weakest on the chain, because it's all building to something. It's just one long chain of events leading up to the big one at the end. And so I can't necessarily say that anything is weak, because I think that they all tell its unique stories. The beginning when they're, in the village, and the spirit, the lady spirit, whatever.
Painted Lady.
The Painted Lady. Like that serves a
Fake fan.
That serves a purpose. Sorry, I only seen it 2 times.
Those are rookie numbers. Gotta get those numbers.
Sorry, rookie numbers. The whole bit with Toph, and she's swindling on the streets. I think that all these episodes they serve a point and purpose of like these characters growing into their identities. So I can't say that anything is weak, even with the other seasons, like the first half of this season and the first half of the first season. Like it's all continuously growing, and I can't, like, if you think like one is weak, then I don't, like, I think this will be a weak Jenga game. If you pull one out, you have a chance of all of them falling. But no, it's like it's strong altogether, as a whole. I think.
Yeah, I really do enjoy the first half of season 3 because it does have a lot of character-focused episodes, which I think are among the most interesting. We had just talked about... I asked that question because both Peter and I didn't really remember these episodes all that much, you know? But
first half of season 3 is always hazy to me.
But when I went back and saw them again, I was like, well, these are actually pretty good episodes. How did I forget these? And maybe because like seasons 1 and 2 were airing more, and there was, I think, a 2-year gap between 2 and 3 maybe that I seen them more and I remember them more, but I don't know. But these are, I think, very good episodes, but it is a lot of them.
That could be a very good point because I saw them all in one shot, you know, and versus somebody who had to wait a couple of times. Things could get lost in the whole befuddle of things. So I could understand why bits and pieces of a season or two would be completely lost. Mm-hmm. So I understand. Alexys? That point.
Any thoughts on this?
I agree with everything he just said. And I want to go back to the episode where he was talking about the one about Toph stealing and stuff. I really like that episode because I know that I crap on her a lot, but I like...
Toph?
No, Katara.
Katara, you said Toph.
I know, the one where she steals, but I was starting to say that I know that I crap on her a lot, meaning Katara. But I like the part where Sokka talks about his mom for the first time, or at least I feel for the first time, and like puts Katara in like this high pedestal, but like in a really like loving way. Like when he talks about Katara like being the only version of his mom that he knows, I love that. I cry.
That's good. Like also another thing, another case in point, Sokka's episode, where he's learning the ways of the sword. I like how he masters all the fighting techniques of the different nations.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like obviously, like Katara, she learns all the ways of water bending, even blood bending, and everything like that. But like Sokka, even though he has no powers of his own, he really comes into, you know, he really stands his ground into finding, like, because he learns the ways of the Kyoshi warriors, you know, and that's like the earth ways and the fire ways here in the third book. He learns the ways of the air, and he learns the ways of water, obviously from the water soldiers at the end of the first book. And I really like how he in his own masters all 4 elements in his own Sokka way, and I find that really, really interesting and unique.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, I'm going to toss it over to David here, and we're going to start off with episode 11, which is, I believe, the second part of...
Day of the Black Sun.
Right.
Yeah, hold up, sorry. Did not bring it up. But yeah, this is the second part. Aang realizes that the Fire Lord isn't in the castle or temple, whatever they call it, and he returns to the team. And I really like the beginning of it, just kind of like the dynamic between all of them trying to figure out what to do next, but also their rationale as to what how to move forward now. And who was it? What's the dad's name?
This is with the
Ozai?
No,
Hakoda?
Sorry. Yeah, Hakoda.
Yeah.
Katara's and Sokka's dad. I really like what he said to kind of convince him to keep going forward, which is like, we all knew the stakes or what we were getting into. If you guys are willing to do it, we'll follow you to the end. And yeah, and then then I like the team up, which is Sokka and Toph, of course, because Sokka figured out there's probably some tunnel system within the kingdom, and they take Toph because she could see everything. And then
it was a trap.
Yeah.
It was a trap.
Yeah,
That's a trap.
Oh well, they go through. They find the tunnels and all that, and they meet someone that's like walking around, and they're just like they immediately like just threaten him, and he's just like, he's over there. He just pretends like nothing happened, just walks away. And yeah, so they finally find the place where the Fire Lord was supposed to be, but it was Azula. Dun dun dun. And Sokka quickly realizes that
She trolls them.
She trolls them, yes. But she had the Dai Li agents with them, and then you get this awesome action scene where, I mean, it's basically what was she doing exactly? Like, she's basically just trying to run away.
She wasn't. Yeah, she was just running away, trying to stall them the entire time.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you get some good scenes with Ozai and Zuko, and for the first time you see like Zuko saying how he truly feels, you know, without anything blocking him, or the echoes of his dad just like constantly hammering on him. And you finally see like the true spirit of Zuko, I think, in this episode too. And because of that, I feel like, you know, this is the complete turnaround for Zuko that I think, you know, sets him on the path forward until the finale when he is, you know, as his own. And I like that. I like that very much. And all because of like words from his uncle and just like everything that, you know, influenced him throughout this whole entire journey. Again, this is where I think Avatar does it really well, is telling the mental and physical journeys that all these characters have, and you could see them come to the forefront. That's why when somebody says this is, you know, what's the weak point of Avatar was the first half. No, that's why it's hard to say. I don't think so. I don't think so, because you're getting little bits of the journey that you go on forward with these characters.
Can I tell you why you're wrong?
You're gonna do it anyway. Go ahead.
Okay. This is why all of you are wrong. This is why most of season 2 and season 3 was a waste of time. Because the heroes executed a plan and it failed.
Oh my god.
Which thereby means that it was pointless, a plot hole, and objectively sucks.
Wrong. Because when they failed, Hakoda said, you know, look on the bright side.
They failed, and then they just went back to the original plan. So that means it objectively sucks.
No, because the whole point of the plan was to build up to Zuko's redemption and facing his father.
Ruin Johnson bullshit.
But also, I know you're kidding, but I love that line though, where when they realize they failed, and Hakoda says, "This is the farthest we have ever come in so long." And so let's look at
this entire time.
In 100 years,
years,
you know. So like, it's really a cool way to just kind of look at it. It's still sad. I mean, I love it when he says that and then goes into Aang and he's like tearing up. He's like on one knee and shit. And he says like this awesome thing of you've all fought bravely and I'm thankful for everything you've done and all that. And then they just fly away. And I think you see them like getting you just see all of them getting left behind.
Captured.
Yeah. But to go back to Zuko's thing. I know Alexis said this, and like I still somewhat agree. But at the ending of season 2, where Zuko, he gets a chance to decide between good and evil, and he ultimately chooses evil. Like, it still hurts, at least for me, watching that, because he could have really turned there. But
it's the last Jedi choice.
Yeah, it really is. But I think what season 3 did was, again, how Kyle just said, like, you see bits and pieces of his journey coming to that decision to face Ozai. And I think this is the best way to kind of make him turn good, not facing Azula and being like, fuck you, sister, but to face his dad and be like, fuck you, dad.
Plus, they give us Sparky Boom Boom Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but also you see, I forgot, but when he's talking to his dad, the eclipse was gone, and his dad like literally like almost killed him. Lightning shot lightning at him, but he redirected it, which is great.
There was this thing that I saw when I read it. I was like, oh my god, I love this so much. That he never learned how to shoot lightning, but instead learned how to redirect it, and in doing so he is literally phasing out all of the abuse that he went through with both his sister and his dad, and like getting it out of his body type of thing.
But how does that connect to the lore?
Oh my god.
Anyways, I think that's
it's almost like it's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Sounds like trash writing to me. I don't know.
Yeah, what else happens?
No, I mean that's basically it. They lose, and they feel like shit. And then when they're leaving, you see Zuko following them in his little air balloon.
Yeah. I just remembered a complaint someone said in that scene where they're all leaving. It's like, I'm pretty sure Appa could have carried everyone. Someone actually. There you
go, plot hole.
Oh my god, it was so stupid. But like, it's funny because we're rewatching it. I noticed a line of dialogue where they said, when they're flying away and Azula sees them and someone asks like, oh, should we follow them? And she's like, no, they're too fast. We can't keep up.
I gotta ask you, what do you attribute that nonsense to just being brain dead, or is there like this asshole compulsiveness that people have? Because that's the same shit people said about and I don't know, some of you may feel differently about, but wasn't that the same situation with like Titanic, Rose, and the door? On the ocean? It's like, really? Why do we need you to say something about that? We don't need you.
When there's an actual scene.
Latch on to dumb shit.
Well, at least with Titanic though, like, it is a joke. At least, I mean, from what I hear, it's a joke. It is a joke.
David.
I think it used to be, but now that's just the way people view movies.
Yeah. It's like this. It's like the CinemaSins mentality. But you know what? It's so stupid because they actually show the fucking door tipping over.
It shows you that they couldn't carry both persons, otherwise they would have drowned.
And they literally say on the show, like, he slows down the more people he carries and gets tired.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, but just think about that. Like,
it's like a favorite movie of ours. I don't know if you guys, listeners, have heard of it. It's called Star Wars.
Whoa, why are you bringing Star Wars into this? That's a little weird.
We have it like 3 times
up
already.
Yours, buddy, up yours. There was everybody complained about like, oh, why is there like a easily to reach porthole in the freaking Death Star that anybody could blow up? Why don't they just cover it and everything like that? And then they had to literally make a movie to cover up that plot hole. I mean, it's just like, it's like this whole argument of like plot holes have completely it's completely dumbed down film critique, and I don't think we should adhere to it.
Yeah, it's like super nitpicky.
No, yeah.
I'm not even sure that qualifies as a nitpick, because it's just, I would think that a reasonable nitpick or plot hole would have to be based on some kind of logic. But just, I mean, imagine like thinking that Appa can carry like an unlimited amount of people.
Can I just say, those swamp benders came through.
Oh, yeah.
I love them.
The only people in the whole world are the people they met on their journey.
I love them.
No, actually, it was really cool that they held on to like a really long time, even like getting bombarded with bombs. That's awesome, honestly.
I thought they killed that one swamp dude because they blew him the fuck up.
Oh yeah, he could have been dead, but it's a cartoon show, so
That's a cartoon. They don't get that dark.
No.
They only kill one person, and it's a kid.
I'm off screen.
I argued that. Remember when we were doing the reviews? I'm like, they killed his what was his name? I forgot because the show hates him. Fucking Jet.
Yeah.
Poor Jet.
There even when we'll discuss it later when we get to the did we discuss? No, we're yet to discuss it. But the episode where they watched the play, I forget what the title of it is.
It's the Ember Island Players, but don't spoil it. We're not there yet.
Push Mike away.
Okay, next episode because someone is in a hurry.
Mm-hmm. So the next one is the Western Air Temple. Basically, we see another air temple where they're gonna hide out, and it's insane how they even thought of this. I don't know.
It's upside down.
It's upside down. Like the whole building is upside down. It's crazy. And then they just decide to settle there, and they try to think of what's next. And Peter said it. The new plan, or Peter mentioned it, but Sokka says, the new plan is the old plan. Aang learns firebending and
2
stops.
seasons wasted.
But yeah, and then while they're settling in the temple, Zuko tries to practice like what he's gonna say when he confronts the whole team, and tries to convince them of joining his team and teaching Aang how to firebend. And one thing I noticed, someone mentioned when he's practicing, he says, "I think I should teach the Avatar how to firebend." And someone mentioned, has Zuko not realized that?
Does he not know his name?
Yeah, like Aang's name. Like he's just been calling him the Avatar the entire time.
See, it's weird because by the Ember Island one, it's pretty clear everyone intimately knows their names and everything about them. So, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was just
I think he just calls him the Avatar.
Yeah, because he's the Avatar, and a lot of people call him the Avatar, so... Yeah. This is one of the most awkward episodes.
I love this episode, but like it also makes me just sad, because he's like... I mean... Not like too sad, because yeah, like he deserves them like shutting him out and stuff, like... He was an asshole. But like he's trying.
Making an effort, yeah.
I only tried to kill you a few times, guys.
And that's that one assassin.
Including this episode.
Including this
episode. And then Combustion Man comes out again and he saves them and they become friends. Well, and of course Katara is like...
Well, it got worse before then because Toph was like, because she, I guess, is the only one that can, like, she's impartial, but she also can sense whether or not someone is telling the truth. But she immediately realized he was being honest and genuine in his, like, offer to help. And then, of course, she gets her feet burned.
Burns her.
Burns her feet. The only, like...
I know. Thing.
Yeah, he says that cool line of, why am I so bad at being good?
Oh my god, I love when he goes into, like, when he asks himself, like, what the people in his life would say to, like, what he's about to do. Like, when he starts talking as Azula and when he starts talking as Uncle Iroh. And he's, like, fully embodies him. It's funny. But yeah, I mean, that's a good, something good, I think, to bring up, that, when Toph says, like, no, he's telling the truth, Katara's like, yeah, he's done that before, and look what happened, which is true.
I think, look, I think she is, and they don't go into it in here, but considering what happened at the end of last season, I think her attitude, again, is entirely justified.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean both sides really. Like Katara, Sokka, and Aang. Like it's completely understandable why they don't want him on the team, but also I think they put in a good amount of effort explaining like as to why he should be, not just because we know he's good, but because Toph, she knows he's telling the truth. She wants to give him a chance, not just because he's telling the truth, but because of Iroh. She probably thinks his uncle's good. He probably learns a bit from him, but also you get that bit of Appa coming up to him and licking him, and they're like, "See, Appa likes him."
and I also like how when they're like discussing it at the end, and Aang agrees to it, but he's like, "But I need to ask my friends first if it's okay with them." Not just like, "Oh, we're bringing him on because he's my only option."
What
it's
a
like
bitch.
if everybody is
He's
okay.
the Avatar. You can tell him what.
So I like that. I don't know. I like this episode.
Yeah.
Also, good voice acting from Dante Bosco as well. I think that's like the MVP.
Bosco.
Oh my god.
The Bosco.
Bosco bear.
Yeah. I realized it once I said like Rufio twice. I'm like, oh wait, he meant the bear.
Yeah, come on.
That's the important thing.
That's the most important part.
I know, but
I think it's hilarious that you could tell they had no fucking idea to do with the characters that they brought along. They
just disappear.
They're just there in the background while Team Avatar has discussions and hangs out.
Yeah.
And like they're not allowed at the cool kids table. It's pretty fucked up. And then like in an episode or two they just get rid of them.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so funny.
I mean, yeah, that's true. But then also, I wouldn't want them to waste time on them. I don't care about any of them. And so
Yeah,
just
but
write
it's
them
just
off.
Neither did the show.
visually. I know visually it's funny because it's like that joke about how I don't know if you guys heard about this film Star Wars.
No, I've never heard of it.
The joke in like the Jedi Council, the only people that talk are Yoda and Samuel L. Jackson. Even though there's a council, they're the only two. They just talk to each other, and everyone else just kind of sits there and listens and nods like, "Yeah, it's interesting."
I mean, what could they have done with them though?
Nothing interesting. Let's move on.
Nothing.
They're not worth it. What? The one's in a wheelchair, so I mean,
Damn.
it's-
Oh shit! Hey,
Damn.
whoa! Be careful, my man.
the other one is an Earthbender.
Careful.
We already have an Earthbender on there. Look, they weren't that interesting.
Okay,
I mean,
so starting next episode, Alexis Soto is gonna go on his long planned vacation. He will address his words and then go on his planned vacation.
I would hope that people would listen to this, did not get offended by it. My intention was to clarify that these characters are not worth the screen time. They just aren't. There would be a waste of time.
It's just telling that you started with one particular.
Okay,
Well, is it
then-
telling that in the episode the characters are told to look after the one who needs to be looked after? I mean, it's not. I mean, look at the damn thing. That's all I'll say.
He can fly.
He can glide.
He flew, kind of. It was a beautiful scene. Anyway,
Okay.
next
Happy
episode.
little thoughts.
Wait.
Adele.
So
Adele does it.
my dog. So then the next episode is the Firebending Masters, which is I think another really good episode.
It's really good.
This is where we start going on little Zuko trips, and
Yeah.
This is that.
They only have a few episodes left, so they need to rush that Zuko.
No, that's the hilarious
development
part.
camaraderie.
That's the hilarious part about this. So, like, yeah, we have 8, 9, 10 episodes left in the series. Well, really like 6 before we get to the actual finale of it. And it's like, this is the part of the show where it just becomes the adventures of Zuko and
Whoever they pick.
Guest star.
And it's like,
everyone except Toph.
Yeah, basically. It's almost as if like I've never seen a show that like oh shit, we need to like build up this dynamic as soon as possible. We gotta like we need to make Zuko feel part of Team Avatar. But they did a good job in the episodes we're about to talk about. I'll tell you this, they made Zuko feel like a natural part of Team Avatar in the matter of I think of like 3 or 4 episodes. And I think that's commendable because most shows that try and establish a dynamic in that, short amount of time fall flat on their face. Like the lack of chemistry between Daenerys and Jon Snow in Game of Thrones.
Whoa. They're family, okay?
They don't need a dynamic.
No, but yeah, I agree. I think that they did a really good job with that. And in this one, he starts his lesson with Aang, his firebending lessons, but he can't firebend. So he's like getting frustrated, which I freaking love that scene. And then when Sokka comes in and he's like, leave. And Sokka's just like, hey, what's up?
Lame benders.
Yeah.
Jerk benders.
Jerk benders.
Jerk bending.
And then you see Aang in the background, like, clapping. Like, just being that supportive friend.
He's like, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
He says that, you know how the firebend is supposed to be.
And then, like, he doesn't know what's going on. He can't figure it out. So then Toph, suggests that they should learn from the original benders, which is where we get this whole story of, like, her learning from the original. Did I say Earthbenders?
Firebenders.
Firebenders.
So she suggests that Aang and Zuko go talk to dragons because they're the ones that created fire, and she was taught by badger moles how to earthbend,
which are the original Earthbenders. Just how Appa, or not Appa, but like Flying Bison are the original.
And the moon was the waterbend original.
Yeah. So I like that little piece where they kind of subtle world building, I guess.
The lore.
And so they decide to go visit the Sun Warriors, which is what they believe a civilization that is extinct. But it turns out that they're wrong. And they end up like getting in trouble with them. And when they get there, Zuko tells Aang that his family basically killed all the dragons. But it's wrong. It's not correct. The Sun Warriors tell them that Uncle Iroh, because Zuko thought
the dragon of the West.
Yeah, that he's the one that killed the last dragon, but no, he actually was there. He got judged by them, which is what they're trying to do also, to try and learn like the ways of firebending, or the original ways. And he didn't kill them. He just, didn't say that
he said he did.
Yeah,
to keep the secret so no one will hunt the dragons anymore.
Yeah, which I love. I love that. And yeah, in the end, they kind of get their own version of how, well, I don't know, because they don't really say specifically, like, what it is, like, how they are able to firebend again, I think. I think it's just, like, kind of their own perspectives.
It's their own perspectives, but most importantly, though, it's their drive. Well, for Zuko, it's his drive. Before, he was just committed to getting the Avatar, but now he believes that he should teach Aang to stop his dad. Well, with Aang, I think this is like the peak of seeing a different perspective of not just firebending, but in the Fire Nation. Like we said in the past episodes, we see a different side of the Fire Nation. We see their kids learn something completely different than what was being told or what we've seen. They see how everyone else is being treated the same way as people of the Earth Kingdom, people of the water tribes. And then on this episode, the first time he touches fire, he says, "Oh, it's like a little heartbeat," and the guy literally says, "Yeah, fire is life, not just destruction."
Which is, again, go ahead. No.
Which is what John was telling him.
Yeah.
It's like it's uncontrollable. It's destruction. It's very dangerous. And blah blah blah. And so in this one, it was Zuko that said it. It's like, I saw colors that I've never seen before. It was beautiful and all that. And then he says something. It's like fires. It's like the sun. It's warm. And
they're like, no shit, Sheila.
No, he's like, do you guys realize this? And the guy's like, well, we are the Sun Warriors.
Yeah. So I think this is like peak of Aang's journey of deciding not to kill the Fire Lord.
Or just, I don't think the peak. I think maybe the beginning.
It's the beginning of that.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, David.
I find it to be the peak because after this, he's kind of on the sidelines, Aang. Like in the rest of the episodes.
That's true, I guess.
So like we don't see any more of like learning what the other people of the Fire Nation live like. It's just full on character
it's a
building.
Race to the top.
Yeah.
To the end.
Remind me, David.
I don't think it's the peak, only because there's an episode I think coming up where Zuko literally asks him, "What are you gonna do when you meet my father?"
Yeah, that's literally like the only time.
Peak.
No. I don't know. I think this is the peak because again, he gets put into the sideline, and that episode you're talking about, that's kind of where we see him as like Zen almost, like he's giving wisdom to Katara in that episode. He's being the Avatar. He's being a monk in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
What was the episode from season 2? The Aang Zuko episode where they're both training, where Aang is learning earthbending and Zuko is trying to learn how to shoot lightning.
I can't remember.
Ooh, that's such a good episode.
Because
he's learning earthbending. Yeah.
If I may, add
Thank
on
you.
something. There were in that episode that you guys were referring to, when they went to the Sun Temple and they saw the dragons and yada yada yada. I like how they're finding like the more peaceful resources of the certain bending powers that they have, like earthbending has, not earthbending, waterbending definitely has its like violent traits, but then so does like fire, and it's notorious for being destructive. And I like the fact that they found more peaceful ways to use fire, and I like that a little bit. So those are my thoughts on that episode. You may continue.
I also like that. I mean, that's what these episodes are. We said it in the beginning. It's everybody going on a journey with Zuko, but we do see kind of them forming a friendship, and kind of like we see the beginning of their relationship and what it might grow into. And it's kind of like a tease to that episode that we saw earlier, the blue spirit of them, of Aang asking him, like, do you think we would be friends? And now we're kind of seeing, like, yeah, they can be friends.
Yeah.
The episode you were talking about, Alexis, it was Bitter Work.
Right, because they're very much in line, both of these two episodes, because as what you were mentioning earlier, Aang, it really is this culmination of him like beginning to understand that fire is more than just destruction; it is life, which is why he was so surprised that it felt like a heartbeat basically in his hands. Of course, the Zhang episode of which you mentioned. And then with Zuko, it's quite the opposite. It kind of reminds me of his entire thing with not being able to firebend is almost like a Sith Lord trying to learn how to be a Jedi. Because they draw on their passions, they draw on their hatred in order to use their ability in the Force, basically. And in this situation, Zuko has some terrible imbalance side symptoms, it seems, every time he has a massive shift in identity. Like, he really goes through the ringer. but it's basically the same thing. It's the inversion of both Zuko and Aang, and the journeys that have been so far, and of course with all those two having so many episodes connected with each other, and how it's pushing toward the finale. Peter, your thoughts on this episode? You called it a really good episode.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there was dragons. I like anything with dragons in it.
Well, almost
Pretty fucking
anything.
cool.
Game of Thrones?
I like parts. Yeah, it's a very good episode. I don't know. I feel like you guys said it all. Well, training and shit. Learning how to firebend. Pow pow. Pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, next episode is called...
It's a 2-parter.
No.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, it is a 2-parter.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Okay.
The
It's called
prison.
The Boiling Rock. This one, it's now Zuko and
Sokka's trying to go on a journey.
And Sokka asks, like, oh, where do you keep, like, your generals locked up?
We actually didn't say this. In the episode, or the first episode, we talked about only the kids left, and then all the adults stayed behind, and they were like they surrendered. They were gonna be war prisoners. And so it was kind of eating Sokka up. So in this episode, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go save them by myself." But
Fuck Suki, though. They didn't even give a fuck.
And then obviously Zuko, like, he knows what is happening, and so they end up sneaking off into this prison that's like
elite
in
prison.
a volcano. Or like
what's in the middle of the volcano? Yeah.
Boiling
Yeah.
leak.
And they get there and they pretend to be guards, and they don't, in the first one they don't find his dad, but they do find Suki. And so they're kind of left with this decision, like, because they find out that they're bringing in new prisoners. And so he's kind of like, Sokka's like, do I leave with my friends so they don't get captured, or do I risk our lives and stay and see if my dad is a prisoner? And they try escaping and they get caught, but then they're like, Zuko and Suki are like, I'm gonna do whatever you want to do, like, it's fine. And so they end up staying. And yeah, his dad shows up.
Mm-hmm. The end of the first part.
Yeah.
But this is a really good episode for Sokka, because I just noticed that we were watching it literally right before recording. Sokka says a line. It's when they end up in the volcano and they crash land because they took the balloon thing that Zuko was riding on, and they ended up crash landing. And then Zuko says that line of, it's like, oh, my uncle always says I don't think things through. It's like, because he's right in this point. And Sokka says, it's like, but well, I always think things through, but lately it's been going wrong for me. And I think it's just, that's kind of like an important little line right there, because as the episode goes on, he realizes that his dad isn't in the prison. But when he sees Suki, his attitude kind of changes into a more positive outlook now, and then that's when he starts like kind of getting back into his old self. Oh my god! Sorry.
COVID?
No.
Knock on wood. But David, you neglect to mention one of the most iconic lines in in Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that is, my girlfriend turned into the moon. That's rough, buddy.
Yes, you see, I think it's just kind of cool seeing how different the groups are. So with Zuko and Aang, they're just kind of like...
They're more like brotherly, like older brother, younger brother. And then this one, they're like buds.
Yeah. And it's funny though too, because in with the Sun Warriors, you know, they're planning their way of getting through it is just kind of going haywire all the time. But with this one, Zuko and Sokka, it's really good teamwork between the two of them. Mm-hmm. You know, they're pretty much on it in every single step of like, okay, let's get some guard uniforms. Okay, the dad's not here. Oh well, Zuki's here. All right, let's get her out. And then once they realize that the dad is here, then again the plan starts to kickstart again. Even after Zuko gets caught, you know, it's just
they recognize him.
Yeah, he gets caught. They recognize him, and again, like their teamwork is just on point. After that, again, they start a riot. Then it's like no.
This is so that was the end of the first half. The second half, they're trying to figure out how they can all leave. Sokka talks to his dad. Also, important shout out to Suki. I love her. But yeah, so they're still trying to figure out a way. So there's like a couple things going on. Zuko, May shows up, and we didn't mention, or I don't know if you guys mentioned it before, but he ended up leaving her. Like they were together, and he left her, and obviously she's upset. And her uncle is the prison guard. And so she's like, yeah, let me talk to him. And obviously with May showing up, you get Azula and Ty Lee, so that kind of gives them another problem. And so they decide to start a riot, and they get help from some of the prisoners. And they kidnap the prison guard, or the whatever he's called. And that's kind of their ticket to escape. They kind of go into like a gondola type of thing. Uh-huh. And then Azula, May, and Ty Lee show up, and they kind of start fighting with them. And then we get to like one of the most iconic scenes, which is the betrayal of May and Ty Lee. I love. Which is where we get Azula's kind of like
turn. You know, she turns as well. Because like loyalty was a huge thing about her and everything like that, and that's why the what's it called? The Warriors, not the Warriors. Her guards.
The Kyoshi Warriors?
Her guards.
The
Dai Li.
Yeah. Like they were everything to her. May and Ty Lee. They were everything to her, pretty much. And to see that completely turn on its head, and you, because you get it from when you mentioned earlier about the beach episode, like. She never really had anybody other than her dad's affection. She wanted her, kind of, yeah.
The way she's always held relationships is through fear. Mm-hmm. Like that's the only way she's ever been capable of developing a relationship. And her most rock solid relationships and her two friends just crumbled before her. Like those were the people she thought for sure feared her, and would always, and because of that would always be with her. But their connections, both to each other and other people, broke that fear from her.
That May chose Zuko instead of her, and literally told her like, I love him more than I fear you. And that's kind of like, ugh. That was her like fuck
and
moment.
And that's where you see like this like nice plummet into insanity that she come crashing down to the finale. That is absolutely beautiful. Azula, goddamn, like the freaking that character shit. But yeah, like she, like the only thing that she strived for, an actual, I guess bond. And she said, it's not like, my own mother didn't love me and all that stuff. And like that kind of bitter resentment and everything that she had, that Zuko had genuine connection with somebody, and you could see that as well with, when Iroh kind of takes Zuko under his wing as well, and you could see like that bitter jealousy that she has she kind of feels like she has no choice but
also like the only person she had a connection with was again her father, who only used her and kind of groomed her to be a weapon and like put all sorts of pressure on her. And again, she's 13, like
like what the like very abusive, kind of predatory as well, and you could see that with the Zula, and you like just like all these like feelings pent up just being unleashed after this. Like this was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing. And I think that's an absolute like we're seeing a lot of change and turn, and seeing all these Jenga blocks be slowly be plucked out, and now you're gonna see like the crashing of all of it, and seeing that turn, I think, is really really successful in what they did with Azula.
But yeah, I like these episodes a lot. And again, another shout out to Sue, because
because she freaking like the way that she climbed up the walls like a freaking spider monkey. Like it just like it was impressive the way that she just like, especially with the prison, the main prison guard, the warden.
The warden. I think that's the word I was looking for.
The warden. Yeah, I think that just like that was icing on the cake, and all in.
She's non-bender trash.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I absolutely love these episodes. At first when I saw it, I obviously knew that Sokka and Zuko and all that stuff are gonna make it to the end and they're gonna be all right. But like, how are they gonna make it all right? Because like during everything, like it was kind of like Murphy's Law. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. And that's where I see, that's where the suspension was building, and even at the, even when they were on the tram, I think it's the tram. Gondola. I think so. Gondola. There you go. When you saw like the whole fight sequence and then her trying to remove the strings, and somebody is setting off fireworks somewhere in my neighborhood. I don't know where. But
fireworks are gunshots. The hood may never know.
Oh my god.
No, It great episodes. Sokka didn't get one but 2 episodes with Zuko on the field trip. So,
and Toph didn't get one.
They tried.
What do you guys think?
I like it.
I liked it too. What's the next episode?
Okay, next one is the Southern Raiders.
Much like the field trip and the connections that with Zuko in the field trips episodes. That's how just trying to power through it. That's how Peter and Alexis are right now.
Yeah.
So this episode,
I know we always bring up Katara and how people always say that
how Alexis despises her.
She despises her.
I am going to talk.
Again, the question still stands, Moreno. Why do you hate women?
It's true.
I really enjoy this episode, but this is also the episode where there's that one line that I'm just like, what the crap? And this is, that one line is what makes me not be too fond of her, but it's fine. But besides that, I think this is a really good episode. I think that we get to see another side of her that we don't get to see, and I enjoy it because she's always been this kind of like peacekeeper type of thing, or type of person, but in this one she just completely goes off the rails and is like, no, like
Vengeance.
I'm going, yeah.
She gets all John Wick.
Yeah. But basically her and Zuko have a little trip now, and everyone in the group has kind of accepted him now, except for her. And I find this interesting because I don't necessarily think, I mean, obviously it has to do with like their history, but I also don't think it necessarily is completely all of that. I think she completely hates the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
And she kind of builds up that anger and kind of takes it out on Zuko.
Kind of like a misguided scapegoat.
Yeah. And he's like, why, like, what can I do to, like, fix this? And so, they go and try to see if they can find her mom's killer. And Aang and Sokka find out, and we get into, like, this little discussion where that line comes up. Where she's like, she's fired up. She wants to go. And Aang is like, I'll let you go, but like, just think about what you're doing. Like, vengeance or revenge isn't always gonna be helpful, type of thing. And he uses himself as an example. And she literally is like, I knew you wouldn't understand. Jeez. And not only that, she tells it to Aang and Sokka, but to Sokka, she's like, you didn't love our mother the way I did. Bitch, what? Oh no.
So yeah, but Aang is trying to convince her, like, don't kill this man and all that, and she's just like, nah, piss off.
Oh god. Anyways, it just,
and is why Moreno hates women.
Pisses me off. First of all, you're telling your brother this, like, you didn't love our mom the way what the fuck? No. And then you told this kid who literally lost his whole, like, tribe, and what? Oh no. Okay.
She was emotional.
I don't care. Anyways.
Nevertheless, she persisted.
Yeah. It's funny because I was rewatching. My second rewatch was my brother's first time, and when we meet the killer in question, he's like, wow, I feel bad for him. His life has shaped out pathetically, you know, and you kind of empathize with.
You don't empathize, you just think like, oh, he's not worth it. He's just a worthless piece of nothing.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like we get a lot of like good things. Well, like cool scenes. So they end up going to like this boat thing. And they think that the guy leading the boat is the killer, and Katara ends up bloodbending, and we see this like scene where Zuko's like freaking out, but he's like, "Oh shit!" Like,
"Oh shit,
what are you doing?
This is happening."
She's a witch.
Yeah.
She
so
was.
I really like that scene. And obviously it ends up not being the guy, and they find him later, and they do meet him, but we get to see a scene with the actual killer first of him. He's like this retired man who lives with his abusive mom.
Overbearing and abusive mother.
Uh-huh. And he's just kind of like, he hates everything. I don't know. And yeah, I mean, she sees him, and she realizes like, okay, like, I'm gonna, like, let go of my anger, because he really isn't worth it. Like, he's just a piece of shit, and he knows it, you know? Yeah, and then they go back to Aang, and Aang's like, yeah, you did the right thing.
Yeah, and then that's when you get the big question from Zuko, which is, he asks Aang, what's he gonna do when he faces his dad? And
murder them.
Murder them. Yeah. Yeah. What did you guys think of this episode?
I'm not a sexist, so I loved it. I'm not Miss Alexys Moreno, who every time, you know, sees a girl, she's like, hates it. No. That's not me. I enjoyed it. And yeah, it is interesting to see the bustling romance of Zutara.
Oh my god.
Ship it.
Are you being for reals, or what is your actual stance on Zutara?
All I'm saying is, by the time Legend of Korra comes around, they're both still alive.
Oh shit.
And a certain Aang isn't.
Oh my god. I guess you could look at it at that angle.
Oh my god.
Okay, so you're canceled. Anyways. No, this was a really good episode. I like each of these episodes did a really good job of delving into
Alexis
the member
Soto
of the
is
original. Done. Oh yeah, he's been done. Of the original Avatar gang. So yeah, I really liked it.
Look, I don't even know what the worst part of it was. Kyle's pun or Alexis's insanity.
Oh god.
Am I wrong? Explain.
You're gonna sit here and tell me I'm wrong?
Well, yeah, here it is. Kyle and Peter won't say anything because they don't want to get into it because it's just kind of ridiculous. I agree, but
wait, what? Don't drag me to this. What's going on?
I don't understand you. What do you? So Katara has no right to be upset or angry at Zuko?
That's not what I'm saying.
No.
That's completely not what I'm saying.
There's just that one line of saying telling Aang you wouldn't understand like what she's going through.
Yeah.
The show is called The Last Airbender. She doesn't know what he's going through, what he went through, okay? It's just a simple line of just saying, you know, Aang says, hey, don't kill him, you know, it's not worth it, and she'll go, I can't make any promises. Like that would have been the better line, okay? It shows that she's really...
No, I'm not saying change it either. Like, I
understand. Change it.
No, I understand where she's coming from, but it's just like, it pisses me off that, like, who she's telling this to. Because, I mean, I've said this before, I think Aang's story is, like, so heartbreaking and, like, all the bad stuff. And, like, for her to literally be like... it just gets me so bad, but I wouldn't change anything of it. Like, it's just like something that I just completely don't agree with, but I wouldn't change it. And I'm not saying she doesn't have the right to feel the way that she does. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Well, you were saying that you don't feel that, in particular to like Zutara here, right? We're talking about them. You were saying that you don't buy the fact that it's only just the fact that she was stabbed in the back by Zuko at the end of last season, that why she's still mad at him?
Well, also he's Fire Nation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like she's taking out her anger towards the Fire Nation with him also.
All right. I mean, I don't know. It just... Weren't we? What were you saying the other episode, Peter, about about Aang acting like a bitch last year, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" And then the second anybody else decides to be bitchy or moody, we all just fucking like throw them under the bridge. All I'm saying is, I feel like when you're angry, you say mean shit. I don't think
you
especially.
I get that.
That constitutes this character assassination.
Like if I would be Aang, I would have been so pissed. Is all I'm saying.
Zutara for life.
And also, like, obviously I can't, like, completely understand where she's coming from, because, you know, I luckily have both of my parents, but, like, also, like, what she says to Zuko, like, man, like, I would never tell David that. I don't know. Like, that's...
To Zuko.
Like, I take that
You mean
personally.
Sokka?
Huh?
Sokka?
He said Zuko.
Sorry, to Sokka, like,
That would make
also, like, just
Zutara
gets me...
very, very weird.
Yeah.
That also just, like, gets... It, like, fuels something in me that just gets me so mad, because, like, I don't know, like, if it was, like, me and David, like, I would never tell David anything like that.
But in
like,
that situation, it would be true.
oh my god.
Okay. Anyway, this is the episode I was talking about where we finally see Aang as, like, the monk, I guess you can say. Because, again, he's just,
he's like, vengeance is not the way.
Yeah.
Inner peace.
Mm-hmm. No, it's
Well,
just, like,
he spent 2
And Zuko's
seasons
like,
fucking
no, bitch.
going Avatar mode every time he stubbed his toe.
I mean, to be fair, anybody would
You
go
see,
into
there it
Avatar
is. There it
state.
is. Always making excuses for Aang. It's right there. It didn't even take half a second.
If I stubbed my toe and if I were the Avatar, I'd be in the Avatar state. No question about it.
I don't know. I just feel like there's some kind of something rooted in there. Like, Katara is never like this, and the one time she's like this, we all like, all right, fuck her, right? She's being a bitch. Isn't she annoying? I feel there's a little bit of that going on.
She, like, because she takes it, like,
Because she's a
to
woman, you
another
see.
level. No, because she takes it to another level. And again, I'm not like, I like that she's letting all this anger out. I I do really like this episode, but it's just that line where it just pisses me off. And, like, I don't know. I can't.
It's okay, Alexis. I agree. She's a girl boss.
Okay, I think we should just move on from this now. We're just gonna be repeating. So the next episode is the Ember Island Players. Basically, it's
AKA
just a recap
where
of the...
Go on.
This episode is basically a recap of the entire series.
What
I was
happened
gonna
there?
say AKA. I was gonna say AKA the cartoon character shit on the movie as well.
That's true. Well, it's actually the writers kind of like making fun of themselves because, like I said, you know, during the play they get into the Great Divide and they're just like, let's just fly over it, which is them like also, which is also the writers of the show realizing like, okay, this episode was useless.
That's rude.
Hey, that's not my words. It's theirs.
It's a. I mean,
I don't
This
care
is
for this
like-
episode.
Yeah.
yeah, but like it's funny because a lot of people love this episode.
I mean, it's fun watching it the first time just because you're kind of like, it's funny how
I remember that.
I think it's
Yeah,
because
I
it's like the
remember.
meta nature of this episode. I think that's where everybody is like clamoring about it because a lot of people like meta shit, and as I do too. But I could definitely see why somebody would like view it, you know, as like one of their favorites because it is like first of all, it's a great recap of where they are. It also pinpoints like some not flaws of the show, but like for example, it's like, so did Jet die? It was like, oh, it was never clear, you know. I mean, it's just like stuff like that. It really does address some things, but it also it really like shows like, to me, how everybody else has viewed the story, you know, of the you know, the legend that Aang has made himself.
They looked up all the Tumblr posts they've seen about the show and then they made jokes about them. It's cute. It's funny. I just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's I guess it's weird and not weird that it is the last official episode before the end, the beginning of the end. But I guess it makes sense. I don't know.
It also shows like Aang at his most like prepubescent insecureness.
They gotta set up that final kiss.
I mean,
that was a weird moment.
I mean,
I don't like that moment.
There's been like plenty of moments sprinkled throughout the show to set up that final kiss. I don't think that this is like the end all be all of that setup. But
I feel like Alexis has something to say.
Question before I say anything.
So with this next episode,
do you guys care for it so little that it ranks among your least favorite episodes of the whole series?
Yes.
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, like we said before, like none of these episodes, like even the Great Divide, the one that I say I at least like, it's not bad. It's just kind of like whatever. You can really skip that episode and you'll and episode before I can just easily transition to the next, because literally the Southern Raiders, like it ends with Zuko saying what are you gonna do when you face my dad, and then you can literally just go straight into Sildon's comment, and they're dealing with, okay, what the heck are we gonna do now with the battle plans, you know?
But it also I don't know. I like it because it serves as like a nice little.
No, don't apologize
breather.
for liking it. These assholes. Look, I don't know what's going on this latter half of the episode, but I'm getting pissed off now, legitimately, and it's coming at one particular picture I'm seeing in front of my eyes here. Like, really?
Damn. Man.
Really? You have I can't remember why every fiber of my being I disagreed with everything you just said. All of you. Like, really? This is a hilarious episode. This is so entertaining. It's one of the best. One of the best. And you are like,
Really? Well, okay. To my defense, I have seen this show a lot. And after a few times, this is like the one where it's like, oh, okay. Okay. Let's move on.
I'll even go out further. The humor's okay in this episode.
I wouldn't say that this episode is like necessarily funny, although the only thing that I find like really like laugh out loud hilarious is that they paint Aang like Mary Martin's Peter Pan on Broadway. I find that hilarious. But like I don't know, it's a nice. Oh, also, I like when the kid says, "Your Zuko costume is good, but the scar is on the wrong side." Like I like those two instances I find really funny. But I don't know, it's a nice little breather of them being themselves before crunch time,
which I do enjoy.
The first time I saw it, though, I legitimately thought it was really weird how everyone knows them, like, intimately, in all of their stories. Like, I don't know. I was like, how do all of them know this? Like, they should barely
you could just
even
not
know
care about
Avatar.
it because it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a television show.
Well,
right?
there's
Nickelodeon.
a show on Nickelodeon that they could watch. It's called Avatar: The Last Airbender that everybody could watch. You know, and that's where they get to know these characters intimately.
Oh,
God.
okay.
I think a guy named M. Night Shyamalan tried to do something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
I don't know.
enough with this trash episode. Let's get on to the good shit.
So we're in the 4-part finale, Sozan's Comet.
It's a movie.
Yeah, basically. And it starts off, Aang and Zuko are training, and, you know, Zuko's all like, roar, like, what is it? Lion, tiger, armadillo. He says that. And would you see it in Tales of Ba Sing Se, when Aang's at the zoo. You actually see a tiger armadillo. But yeah, he's just kind of like being super strict with Aang and all that, and then pushing into the limits, and then the team just decides, let's have a beach day, and they're all just having fun and everything. But just one little detail in the when they're on the beach, I think Aang uses like earth bending or sand bending to make something, and then Toph, she goes, yeah, I've been practicing with mine. And like she literally makes like the entire city of Ba Sing Se in the sand by using earthbending, and it's just a cool detail because when you last saw her in the sand, she couldn't do anything at all, just like she couldn't even fight really, and so it's just kind of like she lost Appa, and so it's just this nice little detail that she actually like probably was trying throughout that time to get better at sand bending, or at least not feel like weak in the sand. So yeah, that's just a nice
also
detail.
It's dry and it's coarse and it just gets everywhere.
Yes, exactly. And then during their beach day, Zuko is just like, are you serious? And then starts attacking Aang to teach him a lesson. You get this cool, it's a really cool fight scene between the both of them, and Aang wins obviously. And the Zuko gets pissed off because he's like, there's comets coming here in 3 days, I think, and you guys aren't doing anything. And then they tell him, well, we're gonna wait till after the comet passes to fight the Fire Lord, and explains that if he's not ready, he still needs to learn earth bending, and he barely started fire bending, so it's not gonna go well at all. But Zuko says, you can't wait till after the comet, because my dad is going to use the comet to basically burn the entire Earth Kingdom. And,
which is something, I don't know if you guys mentioned it in the other episodes, but while he was with his family, he was able to go into a war meeting, which is where all of this was kind of laid out. And so explains why he was kind of freaking out and everybody was kind of calm, and so he's just like, no, like, y'all need to start moving. And so they all kind of start freaking out, and they're kind of just like, okay, like, what are we gonna do? They kind of set up this whole training thing where Toph is the Fire Lord, and
she's the Melon Lord.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's a cool kind of moment where they all kind of just like come together and like agree on this one thing and are like, okay, like this is happening. Mm-hmm. But then Aang disappears.
Oh no! But the moment they come together, they do a group hug, and Zuko's just like, no, and everyone's just like, get in here now. And it was a nice moment. But actually, I like that part though, where you get that flashback of him going to the war meeting, and he's right next to his dad, and his dad actually is like acknowledging him and asks for his opinion. It could be him accepting him, but I also feel like because Ozai is such an asshole, I feel like he kind of did it on purpose just to be like, are you still the same person, or are you with
like
us?
Testing his loyalty.
Yeah. And so it's messed up. But and then Zuko, he says that bit of the people of the Earth Kingdom are proud and strong. They'll keep fighting as long as there's hope. And then Ozai just manipulates that and decides to burn their hope, basically. So it's just I kind of like that we finally see what happened in the war room, but also just that moment, the moment where he's just like, I can't.
Yeah,
I gotta go against.
With this.
Yeah,
that was the real turning point.
For him, yeah. But yeah, interesting. And then Aang disappears, and everybody's freaking out. They don't know where he is, and they kind of need to keep moving forward. And they kind of realize, like, okay, usually when he disappears, it's because something important is happening, and so they decide to go or Zuko decides to go and look for his uncle, which is a cool moment. I mean, there's like, I don't even know like where to go. Like there's a lot of moments happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't know. Where do we go?
It's the finale, you know.
Yeah.
Like where do you begin with the end? It in regards to like, I had something to say and then it completely disappeared. Like, I don't know. Continue.
Well,
I mean, I guess I'll go with Aang maybe because I feel like that might be the easiest thing. But he's
on a sea lion turtle the whole time.
Yeah, he wakes up and he's like in this kind of mountain looking thing, and he's with Momo, so he realizes, okay, like I'm not in the Avatar world or the spirit world. So he's still kind of also trying to figure out like what he's gonna do with the Fire Lord. Like he doesn't want to kill him because that's not who he is, but he doesn't know what other options there is. So he starts kind of talking to his past lives and asking for advice. And then I freaking love, this is like one of my favorite moments where, you know, he talks to Roku, he talks to Avatar Kyoshi, he talks to Avatar Yangchen, which is Airbender. And then I forgot the water one, the name of the water one, but he doesn't really have anything to say.
They all just say murder that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, the one that's like most aggressive about it is Kyoshi.
Yeah, I love it. It's so great because she tells him, it's like, well, yeah, I murdered someone who was about to take over the world, so
but
why not you?
What's interesting about that is she's not aggressive though. She's just
up front.
Because I remember Aang was like, well, you didn't really kill him. Like he accidentally died, and she's like, I don't really care. You murdered him, not murdered him.
Difference.
I did what had to be done. Like you can, whatever way you slice it, shit went down.
And that's where it's so interesting because all the past avatars are basically adults, you know, and they've lived they've grown enough to become jaded and cynical about like their situations, and they learned like a lifetime of lessons. And that's where you have Aang, where he comes to the decision, you know, ultimately at the end, that I think is really important because like it is pure, it is the right, it's the ultimate right, because like his means are pure, you know, in that sense. Like, you know, it's not clouded by, you know, decades of becoming cynical and everything like that. It's just like it would be the choice that a kid would make, and ultimately it would be the right choice. That I think is really interesting, and the counterbalance between like what Aang is and what his character is, you know. And I think that's right there. I think that the decision that he made right up until the very end, I think is like the very key point of what this show is and what Aang ultimately stands for. That is really impressive with what they did. Yeah. And it's also really strong, like, to put on a kid and all these themes for a children's show, you know, to kill or not to kill, like, holy shit, you know, in your children's fantasy show, you know, having that message being put across is, I think, oddly profound in the sense that, you know, this is a hard lesson that, you know, kids should learn, and it is the most empathetic of choices. And yeah, Aang, good shit.
And about that scene where he's talking to his past lives, so we finally get that answer of which one of his past lives was going up against that centipede looking thing,
the face guy.
Yeah, so like, you know, they mentioned it's like, oh, one of your past lives tried to go up against me and try to get revenge on me, blah blah blah, and now we realize who it was, and it was the Water Tribe. Avatar.
I like that guy because he's like, nothing really happened with me.
Yeah.
I was just chilling.
Yeah.
Surfing.
Yeah.
Also, one other thing, that scene, when Roku comes out and then when he disappears, they originally wanted to make them disappear with like the elements they were born into. So like Roku would disappear in flames. Kyoshi would disappear, like I guess in dust or sand, and then so on. The Water Tribe with water, and the Airbender with just puff of smoke, I guess. But that was what they originally wanted to do, but they didn't go with it.
I was gonna say something, but it would have completely spoiled Korra, or at least the second bit.
I feel like Alexis had something to say earlier.
Shaking his head, no.
Okay. But yeah, and then then now with the group though, yeah, they're trying to figure out what the heck.
They're trying to find Aang. They go to a seedy bar. They hook up with that one chick from like the second season. They can track him. She can't find Aang, but instead they find someone else, which is Uncle Iroh.
And then we finally and then once we catch up with them, we finally see the whole group of the White Lotus, and which is every old man that they met is in the group of the White Lotus.
They've been setting that shit up from the beginning.
Yeah, which is a great payoff, honestly. You finally meet Katara's water bending teacher.
Paku
Master.
Paku, yeah. Paku?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, him. You finally see him again after so many episodes, and he tells them that he met Gram and they got married finally. And he's like, "What is it, Grandpaku or Gram?"
No.
Yeah, Sokka says that Gram. And then you meet Boomy again, and he says this hilarious line. Once they've done the introductions, and he goes, "Hold on, there's someone missing in your group. Where's Momo?" And it's just funny because from the beginning,
he's been obsessed
with Omo. He tells Aang like, "Oh, you'll learn all the elements. You have an important mission to do." And then Momo comes up and he's like, "So does Momo." Like he has an important role in this, and which is to stay by Aang's side the entire time. Which he did. He was kind of and he was kind of helpful actually when he was in the Lion Turtle, because he kept kind of talking to him, trying to like assess what to do or get his mind straight in the whole situation. Which to me, I say it's kind of helpful. I've actually done that with my dogs when I'm writing essays and shit. It's
Mateo.
Yes. But yeah, it's just again that's another little setup that there is a bit of a payoff. And then
we get Zuko and Iroh's
long-awaited reunion
together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which is great again.
By the way,
yeah.
I wasn't here around the episode where you discussed the tales of Ba Sing Se.
You were invited.
Oh,
you didn't. You chose not to be there.
I know. I wasn't here.
So now we have to move on.
But I watched it the second time, and I would be glad to report I only cried for 5 minutes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That moment. There's like a lot of things about that moment.
Zuko.
He walks in and he literally waits for him until he wakes up. He doesn't just go and wakes him up, which is, I feel like, that's kind of who he is. Like, he's very, I don't know, like, respectful, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. And then he finally wakes up and he doesn't even like look at him, and Zuko's just like apologizing and he's crying, and then finally Iroh goes and he hugs him and
says that great line, another great line of, "I was never angry at you, I was only sad because I thought you lost your way." And
I mean, it's a really good moment because, you know, when he goes back to his dad, he doesn't get that. Like, he doesn't get that warm welcome, which instantly kind of is just like, well, okay, I was gone for 3 years. Like, you're the one that kicked me out. This doesn't feel right. And with Iroh, he just, like, completely, fully, like, embraces him. And, you know, he I don't, like, he just feels very grateful to have him, I guess.
Well, that's that moment, you know, that love is basically what he wanted the entire show.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he wanted, was that moment of, you know, being embraced, being loved, being accepted. And he finally got that, not in the form that he expected, but in the form that he needed.
Yeah.
Could Iroh beat Ozai?
No.
No, yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. I mean that. Well, we forgot to talk about it at the end of the Day of the Black Sun. Zuko goes to the prison to free Ozai, and we learned that not only that Iroh fucking like just demolished every single guard in that prison to escape. So I don't know. I feel like Iroh could have taken Ozai, definitely.
And then Iroh got freaking ripped.
Yes.
Holy crap.
well,
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed it seemed pretty obvious, at least to me, that Iroh could have beaten Ozai. Yeah. I mean, he busted through the wall of Ba Sing Se with the help of, obviously, the comet. He busted himself out of prison. I think it's more of like Iroh understanding it's not his place to do it. It rather should be the Avatar and everything. But, like, come on. Yeah. The fact that Iroh can't beat Ozai, please.
Iroh also pulled a school shooter where he's like, hey, don't come in tomorrow. To one of the guys.
Oh my god. I was... Jesus Christ. I was like, where are you going with
this? I know, me too. Oh, jeez.
Anyways, I like the reasoning as to why Iroh's not fighting Ozai. He says it should be the Avatar, because if it's him that beats him, it promotes peace, finally, and not just if it was Iroh, it'd just be one brother killing another brother for power, which is great. Which is, I think, why the reason why Zuko decides to go up against Azula in the end, because someone needs to become Fire Lord either way.
Can we? I feel like we've beat around the bush enough. Can we talk about the two final fights?
Sure.
Okay.
Why not?
Wait, we forgot to talk about Boomy's escape.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. So
that was also very well set up. All the way back in
I love it.
Season 2.
And how everybody's like, dude, you just totally like took over your whole like city by yourself. And I love like at the end when he was like, what did you do during the day of Black Sun?
They're like, nothing.
Or the solstice, whatever the hell.
The eclipse.
The eclipse, yeah. No, it was a great setup. I like how he didn't even know that they lose their fire bending. He was just kind of like, this looked dark and menacing. I bet I can just use this to my advantage. And he freaking took back his city, which is great. So yeah,
freaking,
you know what?
Boomy
Go ahead, start with the
boss, man. There's 3 battles. This is pretty much like the end.
Yeah, Sozin's 3 battles.
Sozin's Comet is pretty much Return of the Jedi.
Well, 4 if you add in the other
White Lotus.
The White Lotus
retaking Ba Sing Se.
The airships, Ozai and the Avatar, and then Zuko and that crazy
final
bitch.
Agni Kai.
Yeah,
that's 4. Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess we could maybe start with the airships, because I feel... Well, no, I think we should start with the White Lotus, because I feel like they're more separated from everybody else.
The White Lotus is just pure fan service. It is great.
It's amazing.
It is great. It's freaking
old
all
guys,
the old badasses.
Just...
well, like you said, Iroh just bringing down the walls of Ba Sing Se like nothing. I loved how he talked about, when I was young, I had a vision of me taking Ba Sing Se, and I always thought that was, for the Fire Nation. I now know that vision was me retaking Ba Sing Se from the Fire Nation. Destiny, and all that jazz. But fucking
full circle.
It's like water bending, earth bending, fucking sword play, all this shit by peak masters. Plus, you have Sozin's Comet to really give a little kick to the firebending.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
It's so great to the point where you just think, well, if they could do that, surely they could take out the Fire Lord, right?
Yeah, what the fuck? Why was this 100-year war? You lazy old fucks. This should have been the 5-minute war.
True though.
No, I mean, this is kind of like I always kind of think of it as like a look into the Team Avatar's future, because I know they can, they can be like this amazing.
The masters,
as the people of the White Lotus. Yeah, and I like that bit of detail when Zhang he's like literally flying like Iron Man.
Yeah.
Because
Literally,
that's like. Yeah,
and he's pulling up
so
the walls of fire.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. And then that sweet moment where Iroh just like burns the Fire Nation flag, and he's just like, yeah,
he did it.
And there was
It's a
just
good moment.
an interesting moment, because it is a victorious moment, but he almost looks kind of ashamed that this is the nation that he's from and did this in that way, kind of taking responsibility even for his actions. This is the city he once tried to burn down, or at least joked about.
Yeah.
It's funny, you don't see much of Iroh before.
No.
Because it's implied that he was a very different man before his son died. So yeah. I mean,
Which
similar
is,
to Zuko.
I don't know how I feel about that, because
Well, in the flashbacks, they show it a bit, because they show him writing a letter to Zuko, or to the family when he's on the front lines. When it's Zuko alone or whatever.
We get a lot of clues as to how his own journey changed, of course, with the death of his son. We even got hints this season with him being the Dragon of the West, saving the dragons from the Fire Nation, and him going into the spirit world. What was that all about? We never really. I mean, that's an established point I think earlier on in the series, but that I think also serves to suggest that Iroh is very much different than anyone else in the Fire Nation.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of things that have happened to him.
Yeah, he's very in tune with like the spirit world and everything like that, even to where he could actually physically see spirits.
Yeah.
But the thing in that, like he's much like Thor. Like when there's a line in the Avengers where Thor said, "In my youth, I courted war," and that's what Iroh was. He was a warmonger. He absolutely enjoyed the art of war and actually partook in that kind of those crimes, and he absolutely and that's where you get like the more peace, him working towards peace, instead of like glory, and I think that is where you get that shift with Iroh and his development.
There's a lot of personal hubris. Not only did he lose his son, but he also became a humiliation to the whole Fire Nation. He almost took down Ba Sing Se, but it was one of the greatest military failures.
And then he was passed over.
Yeah, right? He was supposed to be the Fire Lord, right?
Yeah.
And he was passed over. So there was a lot of growth to the point where he said sometime last season that, where he sees his power and love as overrated. I'm sorry, power and perfection as overrated, and love and happiness as what's most important in life, as are the other things. So, yeah.
Great character. Love him. A1.
Yeah.
And then, I guess I can go over to Azula and Zuko and Katara.
Quickly, I have a question. Did you guys discuss who your favorite character is on the show?
Yeah, Momo.
Well, we'll say.
Well, I would.
That's a lie.
Disagree and maybe say Bosco.
It's Bosco. Yeah.
We haven't done that
myself.
yet.
Okay.
I think we could say it at the end.
Sure. Wait for the end.
Because there's still moments, I think. But yeah, so before they do the whole Agni Kai with Zuko and Azula, we see more glimpse of Azula losing it. We see her dad and him kind of leaving her behind. And her really...
I loved it. Fuck that bitch. I've waited so long to see her be punched in the face for being such an awful, atrocious, piece of worm-ridden filth. And the fact that all that she's worked so hard for, she just gets bitch slapped by her own father. Fuck off. I loved it. Continue talking about this wonderful demise.
And obviously it affects her a lot to where she just kind of starts losing her mind. And then they show her, because she lost everybody, and she
through
feels
her
like
paranoia,
she lost her dad.
She starts firing and getting rid of everyone remotely close to her.
Yeah, and the only thing that's left is the voice of her mother, where she kind of... What's the voice of, in her head being you are this, crazy person who does all these bad things, but she turns it into being the voice of her mother, and her kind of having to face that and everything that she's done, and she just completely loses it.
To be fair, she didn't have it together to begin with. That's giving her too much credit. She was always a
nobody's
psychopath.
Around to kind of drown out those voices.
Right.
It's just her in her mind.
But again,
and,
here's the thing, Alexis. I get it. I completely get it, because throughout the whole entire show, she's been nothing but conniving and everything like that. But the thing is that she was indoctrinated that way by Ozai, though. So I can't 100% fault her. Maybe 90%.
I think she was just she would kill animals when she was little. I think. They don't show it,
for fun.
I think.
It's implied.
So, yeah, it is with the ducks. So, I think,
I don't think she needed indoctrination. I feel the show does a pretty good job of showing just how wicked and sinister she is in nature.
Yeah.
She's a deplorable, disgusting individual that should have been brought down a long time ago. And, she's the kind of sociopath that is perfect for the kind of Nazism that the Fire Nation is.
Yeah.
She is disturbingly psychotic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And let
me just be clear here. I think she's a great character. As a character, I think she's awesome as an amazing villain. And I think the complexities that is her psyche made her far more interesting than maybe that we would have initially had seen otherwise. And of course, the parallels between her and Zuko made for a wonderful finale. But maybe it's just that thing where how Alexis can't help but hate Katara, I just can't help but naturally hate Azula.
You're both sexists in your own way. I understand. It also makes sense.
And also, her kind of being brought up that way also, she was already like that, and then bringing her dad in, it just kind of helped her truly become that. So I don't necessarily think that, you can't not fault her because I mean, she was already like that to begin with. I don't know.
Okay.
But again,
yeah, I think she's a great character. She's a great villain.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like I love her, but like as a villain, she's amazing.
And I understood that. Just to be clear, it wasn't that you liked her as a person per se. I mean, that would be a different discussion. It's up for debate, I feel, because the show does suggest that she does have a sinister nature about her, but then there's also the whole nature versus nurture argument that's into this. Perhaps if she was in the proper guidance and raised in an okay family and in a better environment, that could have been prevented, but that's an ongoing debate until the end of time.
Yeah,
Also, a thing to note also about Azula, one last thing on my part. Greg Griffin Delisle did fantastic as Azula. Like, holy crap, like you feel the wickedness, you know, with her character, with the voice acting. I think the voice acting is understated. I think it's really good. Like Jack Dacina as Sokka and Noah Zach. Is it Zach? I think it's Zach. As Aang, and I just like the whole cast. I think is really, really well done. Like in terms of voice acting, I think it's great.
yeah. But anyway,
Yagni Kai.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that thing.
Zuko and Katara get there, and she's finally Azula's about to be crowned Fire Lord,
The Demon King.
Yeah, and that was also like another like pushback for her. Her dad wasn't gonna be Fire Lord, but he was gonna be like Emperor.
Yeah.
Phoenix King. King.
Yeah, Phoenix King, and she was just gonna. I don't know. She really wasn't gonna do anything.
Yeah.
And so she sees him, and they I forgot who said it. Who says like to do the Agni Kai? I think
it was Azula. Because then Katara's Kazuko accepts it, and Katara goes, "You know she's just baiting you, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, I know, but something seems off about her. I think I can take her this time." And yeah,
Because I mean, Zuko is just not the talented firebender that Azula is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's funny about this is the Agni Kai is so much more interesting than I think the battle between Aang and the Fire Lord.
Yeah.
Like infinitely more interesting because there's actually like characters.
There's like a subplot
like
going on.
It's been built to this basically by the characters have actually interacted, and there's some level of understanding between them, so when they finally come to this final blow, it actually feels like it means something. Visually, it's stunning. The music, I think, is also the best in this as well. So yeah, I just think it's funny. Of everything that's going on at this point in time, I think this is easily where my focus is pulled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of my hot takes.
That's kind of that's actually like a very common thing. Like with people, they always say that this is like the best.
Well, I mean, part of the problem
The one
that's
with the
inherent
firework.
in what Peter just said is that there are two characters in the traditional sense with Azula and with Zuko. In the other situation, there is a struggle with Aang, with Aang trying to figure out whether or not he wants to, kill Ozai. But then again, Ozai only just met Aang. That kind of,
Yeah.
There's no
but
yeah, like you guys said, it is down to personal stakes between Zuko.
Fireworks?
Motherfucker.
Not again.
They just keep going.
Oh dang!
Can you hear them?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Yeah.
Which means it's not too long until it comes over here, does it?
I don't know. Okay, I think
seems
it's
like
over.
Seems like it's making its way into a circle. Like it started from mine to the top of the podcast. Now we're here.
I've had some go off in my neighborhood as well.
During the duration of this podcast?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Is that why your dogs are throwing a fit? Oh.
Aww. Anyway.
What were you saying, Kyle?
Yeah, you get, there's more personal stakes between the two characters, between the Zula and Zuko, and by extent, like, what the knowledge that Katara has built up, over the years, over the journey that she's taken. And you don't really get with that with Ozai and Aang, because they just barely met, and I find that, right, I mean, it is, like, visually, it is cool, because, like, Aang is, like, in full Avatar mode and everything like that, and everything.
I actually have pretty big issues with that fight,
but
Can you let him
Let's
finish
finish
the
with-
thought, Peter? You're gonna get your chance.
But yet again,
I said go ahead.
It's not it's not that remotely interesting. Like, if anything, like the rankings of, like, the fights between Team Avatar, it goes like Zuko and Katara, Toph and Sokka, and then Aang and Ozai. But that and that's, like, the ranking of, like, interesting character stuff going on.
Yeah.
No love for Suki?
With Zuko and the Zula, though, I really like it. I really like that there's a bit of a parallel, though, with their fight and Aang and Ozai. So with Azula, you see her kind of, like, moving around like a jet with her fire bending, and you see that a lot with Ozai.
Mm-hmm.
And then Aang, I mean, he's the Avatar, so of course he's using all four elements. And in the fight, though, you see Zuko using the bending styles to his advantage.
He
So
pulled
you
an
get, like, this
airbender
little
move.
part. He pulled an airbender move at some point, but you also see some earth bending in it. Just focus on, like, his wide stances. Like, that's all earth bending right there.
Well, when he tripped her, he did when
that's a fire bending.
Isn't that earthbending where he, like, does his breakdance?
Yeah, that's actually a bit of a more of intense move. You see it with his fight against General Zhao on his, like, first Agni Kai. That's how he, like, made him trip doing that. But on this one, though, it's a more intense version because it's the comment. And it's just also great because he used what he learned from Arrow, which is go back to the basics, and that's how he beat her.
Learn from the other ones, not just focus on one.
Yes,
which is what Azula was doing, and ultimately she lost.
Yeah, and then
she also cheated. So
she also cheated, which is my honestly, I'm gonna say this is my only problem with that fight. You see them fighting. It's like you see the flames and everything. It's just the two of them together, and then all of a sudden, Katara just pops up out of nowhere, and then Zula's just like, "I got you right there."
She's like, "I'm gonna make Alexis proud." Fryer.
Yeah, but I mean, either way though, like, it was cool afterwards. I mean, of course, Zuko would try to, like, get himself in front of the lightning, and then it was really just to kind of, like, make Katara do something during that fight, and I mean, she did an awesome job just trying to, like, Katara was now baiting her.
Yeah, she saved the day.
Her and
that
her.
was, like, terrifying. I would hate to be Katara in that moment.
Yes.
Dude, what full on crazy Azula, like, goddamn.
And,
like, we've seen, like, calculated Azula, but this is just like lost everything. No good.
I mean, she basically turns into a rabid animal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she holds up her own. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, she beats her, like, awesomely by freezing herself and the Zula at the same time, and then just chains her up.
In that moment when she's chained up and she's just, like, fully just losing it, amazing. I love it.
And sad.
And sad, yeah.
Like, trying to break out with her, like, fire breathing
Mm-hmm.
And then, and like the moment where you see like, I think Katara, she kind of just like looks away because it's just like, you know, is great.
Her love almost died.
Yeah. But yeah, and then with Sokka and Suki and Toph, you know, they try to stop the airships. I think they call it the airships.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, their thing was it was really cool, you know. Toph being a bad. Oh my gosh, I love what she did though. She wrapped herself in like all of metal.
Gen
and
1
she's just,
Iron
like,
Man.
crawling around. Gen 1 Iron Man, yeah. I think he finally says that one comment of have I said how much I love that you learn metal bending? And she's like, you could say it more often. But yeah, I mean, no, it's just good teamwork between all of them. They're both Sokka and Suki are trying to help out Toph whenever they can, because like even though she can see inside the ship, everything else though, it's like
she's on the air,
yeah,
and she's blind. Like that's terrifying.
Yeah, so you get little moments of them trying to help her out, but they're also working together at the same time, and it just kind of leads up to this intense moment where Sokka, he thinks like it's the end of the line, and Toph like it's like a little tear coming out, but Suki saves the day, and she
Shout
actually
out to Suki.
Yeah, she literally
no one
takes
ever
over her
goes
ship
back
and
for
just
Suki.
I know. God, I freaking love Suki.
Because she can save herself. And she did.
And
Yeah.
after months in a prison, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but we also lose Boomerang
And his
No,
his
but
sword.
I also in the beginning, so before they get on the airships, they see all of them coming towards them, and they just go ham with all that fire. And I don't love it, but like I think it's a great moment when Toph is like, "That's a lot of fire, isn't it?" And they're just like, "Yeah," like it's wild.
It's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And then finally, what?
Oh, I was just gonna say it's good again.
We get the final battle with Ozai and Aang.
And I agree with you guys that it's not really like personal, like with Zuko and Azula, but I do like when they first meet each other though, because like you know, Ozai, he finally sees Aang and it's just like, oh man, I am fighting a child, aren't I? But but then you see this like crazy side and all that, and I mean, for me at least, it was like an intense moment. Just they're like, oh my gosh, they're finally facing each other. They're like, what the heck is gonna happen? You know,
The whole series has been leading up to that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we get great bending from Aang, I think.
Yeah.
And then that moment where he hits his back and he can finally be in the Avatar state. Goddamn!
Oh my god. No, but I mean, you see though that Aang is struggling. He really wasn't ready at all to fight Ozai. But again, I agree with you guys. Zuko and Azula's fight is like the best. But thinking about it now, the fight between Aang and Ozai, it's not, the fight itself isn't really that important, because from the beginning, Aang has been struggling to accept himself as the Avatar, but also struggle with controlling the bending and the Avatar state. And I think that's really the build-up of that fight, is to face someone who is truly like at his equal
Here we go.
side, and he has to
I know that look. I know that look, and I know what's coming, and I'm already so fucking annoyed. But finish your thought before it's...
You're just giving Peter fuel.
I guess, but you know,
Comment
the
like this
build-up
only
was
comes
that
every 100 years.
But the build up to me though is that he controls the avatar state. So like when he hits himself on the back and goes into the avatar state, which is to me it's a great moment because Ozai is like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. It's a cool feeling because just imagine
he finally gets his like he finally feels like he's met his match type of thing.
Yeah, and he finally realizes just like how much he messed up now. But you see Aang like he's really like tearing him up, just basically throwing everything he can at him, and then you get that moment where he's like Ozai's on the floor and Aang says that line. It's like, Fire Lord Ozai, you and your forefathers have disturbed the balance of this earth, whatever. It's like, now you shall pay the ultimate price. And like he's about to kill him, but Aang stops. And that's his peak now of having full control, because he has like who knows how many avatars in his head saying, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. But he's just kind of like, no. Yeah. And it leads, and you see that he says, no, I'm not going to do it this way. And then Ozai's like, you weak bitch. And then you finally see that moment of what the lion turtle told Aang what he should do, and which is take away his bending instead of killing him.
Energy bend.
And energy bend, yes. And some people don't really like that.
What a surprise!
Yeah. They claim it as a ex machina type of thing. But what I said this before, like I think in the first episode of our thing, or the second. But to me, this show is all about patience and control. And Aang, from the very beginning, he's had patience. He's a monk. That's kind of his thing, But he has never been able to control the avatar state, and it's why it's important for him to like learn it in this learn the elements in a specific way and all that. And that scene when he's in the lion turtle, that's where his patience gets tested, because he actually says, oh, I have no choice now, I have to kill the Fire Lord. But then, he just waits just a little bit longer, and then that's when the lion turtle comes up, and he tells him, do this, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's a really important thing for him to kind of just, it's important for him to be patient, because that's how he stands his ground in his beliefs. And then And then the lion turtle, when he tells him how to energy bend, he says, to bend one's energy, your spirit must be unbendable, or else you will be corrupted and destroyed. And the moment when he stops himself from killing Ozai, that's him having control of the avatar state in himself. And that's why when he energy bends, he wins, because again, he has full control of his own power.
Yeah, I was very, very much put off by those avatars. That whole sequence, I'm not going to lie, it really turned me off, because,
You would be the first one to say to kill him.
Because those avatars didn't really offer any kind of help. Like, it really just reminded me of, like, those school counselors that are supposed to, like, tell you what to do, and yet they don't really know what to tell you, and they deceive you.
The first one to
intentionally
say to kill his ass.
So it's like... I was very much like just turned off by that. Like, you have Aang, who very much clearly doesn't want to kill because he's kind of against it,
Grow up, bitch. You're the avatar.
And the fact that they all are like basically what Peter just said in as gross and gross way as he just did. No, I like that he stood his ground and he ultimately defeated the Fire Lord his way. But yeah, I don't know. It's just that really turned me off from those old fucking. Thank God they're dead. Anyway, Peter.
Jesus.
Well, that's why they lost. Then go ahead, Peter.
They didn't lose.
They
Roku. Never
die eventually. They don't live forever.
I mean, the only one maybe is like the water one, and maybe Roku, because he's the one.
The point is, thank God they're dead. I don't care how they died; they're dead. Go ahead, Peter.
Okay, I kind of have an issue with the final fight. The first issue being the way he regains his fucking avatar state. He got hit by a rock, and then it's like, it's coming back. We're going by amnesia fucking rules where you get hit in the head and then it all floods back. When he first, threw himself into the rock, like to protect himself, I thought like, okay, he's gonna be scared or whatever, but then he's gonna like find his inner peace and then maybe finally be able to reconnect with the avatar state. No, he just got lucky and hit the rock on his back. And then the second issue is the whole fucking show is all about how he can't just use the avatar state to win. But then the second he gets the avatar state, he just uses it and wins easily.
But he didn't use it to win,
but he
though.
did.
Like, yeah, he stopped Ozai. and everything.
But he didn't use it to win.
He still didn't use it to
also,
win.
Like,
he wouldn't have won the fight.
He couldn't use it because he couldn't control it. Like,
but he did
didn't know
control
how to use it. No.
Until he got shot with lightning. And then I thought, like, okay, the way he regains it is by, finding it within himself. But no, he just gets hit in the back.
Well, the thing, though, I mean, yeah, I actually don't mind that complaint. I know it's a very common one for everyone. But I just kind of realized this, I think this is like the differences between Azula and Ozai, where Ozai, he's playing with them, just doesn't like, he's trying to show off his power and all that, while Azula, though, she's getting like straight to it, to the point, at least like ending of second season, and I think that's kind of like, I like that differences between, and that his downfall was his arrogance, while her comeuppance really was that she gets straight to the point. She gets straight to like what is necessary, but in the end, though, it wasn't her. Her ending wasn't her. What did I say? With Ozai, is arrogance. It wasn't her arrogance, but just that her mistrust between everyone. Yeah. So it's kind of like just showing off, like really showing off the big punishment that Ozai is about to get. Because again, like as soon as Aang gets to the Avatar state, he realizes, oh my god, I shouldn't have done this.
Oh yeah, because he doesn't want to kill him. But I mean, the Avatar state was what won the fight. He was losing, and then he hit the Avatar state, and then he captured him, and then it was basically over the second his eyes shone white.
But again, though,
it's like, but it's different though. Like I don't think it necessarily means what you're trying to say. What it means, I just think that like he has fully evolved to where he can actually use the Avatar state. Because before, if he used it, it would have been really bad. But now he's learned how to use it, so it can be, a form.
Well, it seems like the only
of a weapon.
The only part in which he actually controlled it is when he stopped himself from killing Ozai. Because before, you can't say he was in control, because you heard all those voices say, "We're about to execute you, bitch." Like, that's obviously not Aang. Aang doesn't have control until he forces himself to exit the Avatar state right before he kills him.
I don't.
Well, I mean, like I said though in the beginning, is that the fight doesn't really matter. Like, you got to make it cool and all that. You got to build up to some awesome shit.
I mean, we get 3 other fights.
Yeah,
so.
And you get 3 other fights too. So, like, the fight isn't necessarily what's important between Aang and Ozai. It's that Aang finally learns to control the Avatar state. and it's by going up against everyone, what he learned from everyone, basically, you know,
like his journey.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
And
I
it's
just
nice
don't
though,
know
too,
if
because
I buy into that.
And then it's great though too, because after he gets rid of Ozai's power, you know, he goes to the avatar state again. But this time it's not like he's glowing the entire time. No, it's just like a tiny glow. And the move that he does, it's the first waterbending move that he learned from Katara, which is just move the water up and then push it back, push and pull, peace.
The fight was cool. A lot of cool shit.
Yeah, it was so cool.
So yeah, I mean, those were my hot takes.
Alexis,
Was this the first time you saw
No.
it? Oh, okay.
No.
Because I like watching it with people and like seeing their reactions the first time. Especially like the ending, because a lot of people don't agree with. Like a lot of people were actually really mad at this.
At what?
Like that he didn't kill him.
Wait, what? Wait.
Yeah, like a lot of people don't agree that he didn't kill him.
People were upset. You know what? I'm gonna do y'all a favor and not say anything. I'll just.
Well, it is.
Well, what'd you think of the fight, though?
It is kind of a lamer
Peter, what is
version
it?
of Star Wars, right? Like it is, because Luke's whole moment is not killing Vader, but the whole point is there's still good in Vader. Like there's confliction right there as to why you should or should not kill him. Whereas with Fire Lord Ozai, she's just a dick. Like there's no. It's like, you know, should you kill Hitler? And it's like, yeah, even Hitler agrees you should kill Hitler. Look at what he did.
I don't see Ozai as Darth Vader, though.
Exactly, that's the issue.
I mean, if anything, I maybe see Zuko as Darth Vader in a way, and he lives.
I was gonna say, I mean, you might disagree, but I see Ozai as the Joker in The Dark Knight, where it's like,
Maybe that, you know what, that probably works a lot better, actually.
yeah, because again, you know, it's not really about.
It's not about them, it's
and
about
The
your
Dark Knight.
choice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about the choice that not just what Batman makes, but what
Well,
everyone else.
the
He could have just
implication-
cut off his limbs.
Because this city
He can't bend
just
without
showed
limbs.
you.
What happened, Alexis?
The implication that Aang is somehow weak because he couldn't kill Ozai is one that I personally find disgusting. Like, if you think that strength is murdering someone outright, then you can go to hell. That if you're gonna get to a discussion of whether it's reasonable to kill anybody regardless of what they've done, you've already lost, in my view, or you've lost who you are. So we're not gonna get into that discussion. But really, how bloodthirsty are you, fucking leeches? Damn, you want to see some like get decapitated?
Didn't you admit to fantasizing about murdering me?
You know, Peter. In moments like these, I can honestly say that even now I wouldn't kill you.
You'd pay a mind bender to
Yeah.
do it.
I don't know. I really like. I mean, this whole ending. I think
It's a
is
really good
great.
ending.
Yeah.
And then we get the tea shop. Iroh is back at the
That's
tea
all
shop.
I wanted.
Yeah.
That's the real ending.
That's the real ending.
That's the real
Tea shop is
important
endgame.
Wait, hold on. You skipped a lot.
Oh,
so,
sorry.
so they stop them. You know, Sokka, he's with Aang, and Suki asks like, "Oh, did you do it?" And he's like,
Oh shit.
"I'm still alive."
Oh, yeah.
it was just a funny delivery.
Oh, and it makes sense that he's the Joker because he's played by Mark Hamill.
Hey, see, it's poetry.
Full
poetry.
circle.
It rhymes.
rhymes.
And then you get this funny. You go back to the jokes now, where what is it? I can't remember what he says. But Sokka is like making fun of the Fire Lord, and Suki tries to like get in on it, but Thomas was like, "Leave this to the professionals, lady." And then you skip forward, and they're all back in
Fire
the
Nation.
Fire Temple. Fire Nation, whatever.
They're in the Earth Kingdom.
They're with the Fire Nation.
Oh, and the ceremony.
Coronation.
Yes.
Sorry.
And then Zuko and Aang talk to each other, and he says, "I can't believe a year ago I tried going after you, and it's like so much has happened." And
then they
like,
kiss.
a little hug to each other. They kiss. No, they hug each other.
Aang, Zuko, and it was the real endgame.
Zang. That's what it is.
Zang.
Yes, but then but they walk out, and then you see a crowd of people. You see everyone that was in prison. They're back,
and then you don't see any of them.
Yes, you see the Earth Kingdom. You see the Fire Nation. You see the Water Tribe, but not the Air Nomads
Because they're dead.
They're still genocided.
Yes. But Zuko says this great speech of I wish I can say it words perfectly, but it was just something like, we've been at war for 100 years. We have a lot more work to do now, more than ever. But with everyone here, with the help of the Avatar, we can bring a new era of peace and love to the world.
And I especially love the part at the end where they're all partying with the Ewoks, and
We are free.
Yes.
Yep.
That was the swamp.
You see all the airships
thing.
coming.
You see Jet.
You see Jet.
You see
All
Jet.
the Force
see
Ghosts
all
of Jet.
Is Jet and only Jet?
Yeah, you know what? This episode has really gone off the rails now. What now? This is...
You get sequences of the airships coming down.
Yeah.
And one of them pulled.
Over
and you see the
Bossing
Holdo
Say.
maneuver pulled. Yes. Well, actually, you kind of do get something like that. Honestly, you see Bossing
Oh yeah,
Say
you see the
and
life
the fucking
returning.
tanks.
Yeah, the tanks are still there.
Yeah. And they're like kids playing like, I don't know, some type
Around
of
them.
soccer game around them. So you do get kind of a sequence like that. But then finally it ends with them being back at the tea shop and Bossing Say, and
Ty Lee is part of the Kyoshi
Oh, yeah.
Warriors now.
yeah.
I love.
But then it finally ends with
Of
Aang
course.
and Katara together outside, and they give a little kiss to each other.
And all the
The
Zutara
music.
shippers cried out and were
Yes,
suddenly silenced.
exactly. And you get the end.
Question mark?
Question mark.
For real.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. What'd you guys think of the ending?
pretty good.
Yeah, one of the best finales, I think. It was really great.
Pretty good.
Probably one of the best shows ever made, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Should we give our thoughts on the overall show since it ended? I don't know.
I mean, I feel like I have given my
I feel like
thoughts.
that was kind of the point of all of these
I've seen
episodes.
the
I think
show.
you kind of already know what
Yeah,
our
yeah.
thoughts are.
Just a summary, you bitch.
No, I mean,
It's very
No.
clear.
I meant like I've showed because I've seen this show like 30 times since it's been on Netflix. I don't know. I love the show a lot. I think that everything that it has to say, and everything that it shows, it's not only like a good show, but it exudes goodness, and like, it teaches a lot of things that we struggle with, So I don't know, I love it. And to answer Kyle's question, my favorite character is Toph.
Well,
oh yeah, forgot about that.
Okay.
Okay. So, like, when you think of different properties of, like, sort of hero's journey, action adventure type shit, like, you have it in Marvel, maybe Lord of the Rings, Matrix, Star Wars. I don't know if you heard of that franchise. I don't know if you heard of it. It's pretty big. The Last Airbender,
Never heard of it.
I think, is easily the best as far as execution goes. I really do think from the characters and how they're grown, the villains and how they're portrayed, and the way that they're just so good at delving into the morality of war on all sides in a variety of different situations. It's damn near perfect. As perfect, I think, as you can get when exploring this kind of shit. Yeah. So I like the show. I don't know.
And your favorite character?
Bosco.
I love this show. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I can only praise it so much. I love it. Peter said it wonderfully. Like the morality of war and everything like that is so unique, and the way that it shows that, and it doesn't like dumb down that those ethical questions of what's good and what's bad, for the kids, in which, this is a kids show, but the way it doesn't dumb down for the kids, I think, is, and the way that it treats them, intelligently, I think is the most unique part of this show. And the thing that makes it worth it all at the end is is again where everybody has their gripes, making Aang look weak because he decided not to kill Ozai. I think that is I think that's moving. Instead of resorting to violence, you just peacefully resolve your issues, and I think that is the most important thing to do and show kids, that it is not in anger but in love that you shall save the day.
And that's what I mean by there's so many things that we can still learn from this show.
That's why
there's not just one way.
That's why I take issue with you calling it a kids show. I mean, did you see what they did to Jet?
I mean, it's implied. It wasn't really clear what they did to Jet.
They massacred my boy.
You forgot his name in the podcast earlier.
Shut the fuck up.
But the thing is that I because it's aired on Nickelodeon. It's TVY7. It is by and large.
Yeah, it is a kid show. That was a joke.
But yeah, I really love it. I had something to say, but I completely forgot it.
Favorite character. Favorite character.
Yeah. My favorite character is fucking Uncle Iroh. He is amazing. I love his character. I love the fact that he's he just wants his damn tea. Throughout most of the thing, but also his warm-hearted nature to the whole thing, and when he sings "Leaves on the Vine," I just I turn into a blubbering mess. The way that he absolutely loves what?
Nothing. Continue.
Okay. I turn into a blubbering mess every time that scene happens. And the dynamic between him and Zuko, I think, is tremendous. The story that's told right there is beautifully done. The dynamic with family is just, it's wonderful, and it is very much one of the reasons why I love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. He may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy. I love that aspect of it. I have my own Uncle Iroh, and that is my stepfather.
I thought you were gonna say me.
No.
Oh.
No. Fuck you.
Oh.
No, No, I have my own Uncle Iroh, and it is my stepfather, and I feel that emotional connection to Uncle Iroh, and it's absolutely beautiful with everything like that. And
am I your Bosco?
Yeah. No, what the
You should have. This is his whole conversation. Like, he wouldn't stop talking about Bosco, the bear.
Oh. Okay.
Jeez.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I love it. Recommend. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. No, I love the show. So right from the beginning, and I keep watching it. The characters are amazing. Aang is my favorite. I'll say that right now. He's always fun, and he's the hero. I mean,
he's the Avatar.
he saves the world. Yeah.
Typical Gryffindor.
What? Okay. But I just kind of want to add on a bit to what I said. The whole show will be being about patience and control. Because it's not just with Aang, it's all with the other characters too. With Zuko, he's impatient, and he believed that he never had control of his life, but later on learns that he's always had control of his life. He's always had control of his destiny, or on his own, he brought back his honor. That's kind of his thing. Azula, she has neither. She has neither she's impatient, and she has no control. She believed she had control by using fear with everyone, but Ty Lee, the one with the daggers.
May.
No, May.
Are you serious? Oh my god.
We need to look into whether or not there's some kind of a synapse like snapped or something, because it's not just this show. There's another show where you get some people's faces mixed up with some names. Like that's not healthy,
Yeah,
David.
how can't you just remember the names?
Yeah.
Let's...
It's okay.
Okay, Scoot Squad.
You guys are bullies.
I mean, to quote you, bullies work, and then we need more of them. So
I never said that.
yes, you did.
News.
We got the tapes.
That's
We got
fake
the
news.
tapes.
Fake snooze.
Y'all are haters.
The glasses are off.
Fake snooze.
Costco's the best character.
Again, Azula, she believes she's always had control, but she's always used fear to control people, and then May proved her wrong, and that's how it led to her downfall. Azula's downfall. Toph, she's patient, that's why she was the perfect teacher for Aang. But her control is that, I mean, she's blind. She's always had to no, for one thing, her parents always took over her life for a very long time because she was blind. But she proves that just because she's blind, she's not able to do anything. She's actually capable of doing more than what you see of her. So yeah, again, I think the show does a really good job of kind of subtly explaining to you just the characters' faults, but also a great way of showing how much they can rise from whatever situation that they're in.
It's kind to lead off with continue with the train of thought that Peter had laid down. I think this show does a better job of showing of teaching values and morality than some institutions that exist in real life that are supposed to be about those things but are really not about them at all, and are hypocrites and corrupt. Just putting it out there. It's the truth. And to me, maybe the biggest failure of this series is too many of its own fans completely miss the point of this show. I mean, if a legion of people who are fans of this series are upset that Aang didn't kill someone,
That really bothered
Well,
me.
it's
You
it
had
bothered-
to trigger him with that, Miranda.
It bothered you, Alexis, when that there was that scene where Iroh was teaching about to Zuko the 4 nations and how it's important to not have a rigid point of view and to look at everyone else's differences, right? And it bothered you that so many people who watched that scene in particular didn't get the message of what they were trying to tell you there. The fact that someone, I don't know if you shared a TikTok or something where one of the fans was saying, "You watch this show and you're still conservative." That's basically, I mean, to me, again, my point of view, conservatives, I think, have a lot of immoral opinions and ideas. But putting that to the side, I think this is the best example out of anything that we have in pop culture, about teaching people what it means to be a good person, what it means to be a part of this community that is humanity, to care and have compassion.
And how awesome bears are.
Hold on.
Yes.
Fireworks.
Oh no. Leaves from the vine.
Please, we've had one bad cover already of this already. Don't do another one of those. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. Basically, that's kind of why I love this series, and it's all encapsulated in the character of Iroh. I mean, to me, I think more people need to hear that quote. Power and perfection are overrated. You're wise to choose happiness and love. That's what the show is. That's all it is.
Yep.
So I guess that concludes, not only does it conclude our Avatar recap series, but this actually concludes our 250th episode.
Hey.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh wow.
So
Yay?
yeah,
I don't
yay,
Cool.
yeah.
Yay.
So now we just have to do Korra.
Yeah, so we're going to continue off our Avatar with The Legend of Korra. 4 more episodes regarding the 4 seasons of The Legend of Korra, although we won't be back with this until late August for scheduling issues, but I think we're all looking forward to it. I can tell you that I've already heard some really positive response among first-time viewers of Korra. Of course, you should know that the Morenos are not at all first-time viewers when it comes to Korra, so they'll be once
Hell
again
no.
leading the series.
But your very own Kyle Lira is. He's, as I would assume you are too, Alexis?
What?
First time viewer?
Yes, I've never seen it before.
Did you already see it, Kyle?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm watching right now. I'm on the 3rd book.
Okay. Well, you're watching it, right? I'm a little worried because I ordered some off eBay, but they're going through Florida. So.
Are you enjoying it so far?
You'll have to find out.
There are elements I really dig. There are elements that I don't particularly care about. And,
Is it the female lead?
Shut up. I'm not like one Miss Alexys Moreno. I do not hate the women.
Okay, I think...
Just kidding. I'm just kidding, Moreno. I'm just kidding.
He's not Moreno.
She's done.
I think that will about wrap it up. A reminder, of course, you can catch all of our content under a wonderful, beautiful red spotlight every single week, anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple, CastBox, and Spotify, as well as the Fantasy Fair podcast every single Friday. We have some upcoming exciting episodes. Yeah. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.